All right, let's go to the pump. Gas prices still up about 60 cents a gallon from January. Supply, may I remind you, is greater and demand is lower than it was 2 years ago. But prices are still more than $1 per gallon higher than they were back then. What's going on? Wall Street speculators are driving up the cost of gasoline by as much as 40%. The CEO of ExxonMobil and the bankers at Goldman Sachs, they have admitted this under testimony. But Republicans in the Congress won't let the facts get in the way of the oil industry talking points.
The discussion of the CFTC and oil speculators is a red herring. The real issue that the Democrats have failed to address is drilling for oil in order to increase supply.
I don't think that guy watches the news. It's up 11% since President Obama got in. Senator Bernie Sanders is tired of hearing the drill, baby, drill philosophy, and he's fed up with the regulators not doing anything to curb excess speculation. So he's introduced legislation today to force position limits on oil speculation. The facts, well, they speak for themselves. Over a 3-week period earlier this year, speculators increased oil trading by almost, get it, 50%. In that same time period, the price of oil went up $26. One of the bill's co-sponsors, Senator Bill Nelson of Florida, connected the dots earlier today.
If you watch those two lines on a graph for the rest of this year, you will find that those two lines track each other.
I mean, I just cannot believe that this is a political football. I filled up my truck when we were home last weekend. It cost me $80. And I was wondering how are middle-class families making it? Joining me right now is the author of the oil speculation bill, Senator Bernie Sanders, independent senator from Vermont. Senator, good evening and congratulations for taking action on this and keeping it out in front of the American people. The CFTC, we know they're not doing their job. They should be, and I'm glad you are. Will gas prices go down, Senator, if this were to pass?
Absolutely. As you've indicated, you have expert after expert telling us that up to 40% of the cost of a barrel of oil has not to do with supply and demand, but everything to do with Wall Street speculation. What is going on right now, Ed, is that 80% of the oil futures market is now controlled by speculators, people who have nothing to do with the end use of oil. Not the airlines, not the truckers, not the fuel oil dealers. People who are in the oil futures market only to make money as they drive prices up. If we control that speculation, we can substantially lower the cost of a barrel of oil and gas at the pump, and that is exactly what my legislation does.
Well, I don't know why the oil companies wouldn't go along with it. They get everything they want. First of all, what they get is the oil subsidies. That, of course, was untouched in the Congress. But I think that this would bring us to a better place, would it not, when it comes to an energy policy? What do you think?
Well, absolutely it would. Look, I come from a rural state, and my phone has been bouncing off of the hooks by people who are saying, you know, their wages are stagnant. Many of them are now working longer hours for lower wages. Millions of our people are hurting. And then what happens is they have to pay $3.50, $4 for a gallon of gas. This is coming right out of a paycheck, which they can't afford anymore.
Yeah.
They're hurting.
And, Senator, you just saw the congressman from Kingston, Georgia, Kingston of Georgia, saying that speculation is the red herring. What's your response to that?
No, quite the contrary. The red herring is that we need more oil drilling offshore. The real issue right now is, as you indicated, we have plenty of supply. Demand has gone down. What we need to do is tell these guys on Wall Street they cannot artificially drive up the price of oil, which not only impacts millions of working people who are filling up their gas tank. I worry what happens in the wintertime in cold weather states like Vermont. And clearly, high oil prices are impacting the entire economy and slowing down economic growth. This is a huge issue, and we have got to stop speculation. Now, here's the point. In the financial reform bill of last year, a provision was put in there very clearly that said to the Commodities Futures Trading Commission, you have got to control excessive speculation. That's what you've got to do, and you've got to do it by January 15th, 2011. They haven't done it, Ed, and that's why we now need legislation which says this is what you've got to do. This is the way you will control speculation.
They have been inept. The White House has been silent on this, and now you're the one taking action. Every American is getting drilled at the pump. We're getting gouged because of these speculators. Is our government broken?
Well, what really should be troubling to every American is that we passed legislation which had a provision to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And the CFTC is essentially ignoring that, and that is really problematic. The president's got to get involved. We've got to pass this legislation, and we no longer are going to ask this agency to do it. We're going to tell them to do that. The stake of the state, you know, what we're fighting for is an economy. We're fighting for the rights of working people to earn a decent wage and not get ripped off at the gas pump.
Why wouldn't Republicans come on board with you on this? Because they're connected at the hip to oil companies? I mean, it affects every one of their constituents.
It sure does. They're getting the same calls that I'm getting in Vermont. People are disgusted all over this country. But let us not minimize the extraordinary power of Wall Street. These guys, remember, these are the people who drove us into the recession that we're in right now because of their greed and illegal behavior. They are back again manipulating oil prices. They are unbelievably powerful. They have a limitless supply of money. They have control over both political parties. I would hope, however, that there will be Republicans there who are hearing from their constituents and, in fact, are prepared to do the right thing and stand with us in trying to end this speculation.
Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders, great to have you with us tonight. You have a rare, innate ability to do it for the people, and I respect it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.